Hello, friends. My name is Pradeep Govind. I'm the author of this book, I Duryodhana, and I'm very happy to share that this book has just completed 5 years of successful shelf life in some of the prominent bookstores across India. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all you readers and my patrons, and especially my publisher, Om Books International, Mr. Ajay Mago. Thank you so much. Now, ever since this book was published, I've been asked a question by just about everybody I know who's read that book as to why did you choose Duryodhana? Why have you chosen this character who's supposedly the antagonist or the villain of this epic, the Mahabharata? Why have you chosen to write about him? Uh, this book I've taken care, made sure that I've not deviated from the traditional narrations of the epic. If you look at the grand epic of Mahabharata, you would notice that there are over 6,000 characters in that epic, in Mahabharata, and you'd notice that just about every character in that epic, including Lord Krishna or Yudhishthira or even Arjuna, are actually dispensable to the epic. You can complete the epic, the story, without these characters, but not without Duryodhana. So that makes him the central character, because the entire epic hinged on his decisions and how he thought and how he. So you understand, he was a central character to this whole epic. That apart, if you go through the epic, you will find out that there are a lot of areas where you start questioning. If you go through it in detail, you start questioning. You see, I believe and I'm of the conviction that history tends to favor the victors. So that's why the book starts by saying who's to know who's to blame, who's to know who sparked the flame, who's to know who's right or wrong when history sings the victor's song. So that in a nutshell is all what this book is all about. So it's Duryodhana. There are a lot of areas in Duryodhana's life where we felt that he was actually wronged or misunderstood, so many things. And generally when you read it, you tend to brush those things under the carpet, overlook it, because finally the epic has to, when it ends, the conclusion should be in favor of the victors. So, and then it's the narration has been handed down traditionally. Now, if you look at the birth of Duryodhana, it starts off there. The wisest man in the court of Hastinapur is Vidur, and he talks about sacrificing this child, this infant, because there were some mysterious omens when he was born, and he brayed like a donkey and things like that when he was born. So he suggests to his brother, who's a king, Dhritarashtra, he says, do away with this child because he's going to bring about the destruction of this entire Kshatriya clan. So it starts there, the injustice starts there, Then there are other episodes like how Bhima used to bully these people. Everybody talks about how they tried to poison Bhima, Shakuni, and it was this uncle Shakuni's plan. He tried to poison Bhima and drown him in the river. But how Bhima used to bully these kids, the Kauravas, Duryodhana and his brothers, is not being talked about much. Likewise, this whole burning of this house of lac, the house of wax. So Lakshagra, as it's known as. People, generally when you talk about it, they say they tried to burn down the Pandavas in the house of wax. But actually, if you again go through the epic, you'll notice that the person who actually burned down that house of wax was Bhima. It was Bhima who burned that house of wax. And very conveniently, there were 5 brothers and an old lady in that. Coincidentally, they were the God knows what they were doing there. They got burnt and they charred to death, and people thought that this is the Pandavas. It looks very convenient to me. So that is number 2. And then this whole thing about how these 5 people marry one woman, saying that they were listening to their mother. The mother's order, command has to be obeyed. And if you look at it, probably the mother thought that the unity would be, compromised if this woman, Draupadi, was Arjuna's alone. So that was another thing. So I've talked about these kind of matters, how, even the partition of the kingdom, the Kandava forest, which is supposed to be, a kind of resource for a lot of herbs and timber economy, and so many other things. And it was a house for a lot of fauna and flora. and this was burnt down by Arjuna and Krishna just to build the Indraprasth. There was no really ecological balance, and these things were really not given a priority at all there, not even a thought. So I basically talked about these kind of things. But the most important thing here is that the betrayal that Duryodhana has faced from various quarters, right from his uncles, his grandsire, his teachers. I mean, they all, and the biggest betrayal is from his uncle, Shakuni. Basically, he was using Duryodhana as a pawn to, extract vengeance on Hastinapur because because of his sister being asked to marry a blind king, forced to marry a blind king. That apart, and of course, the betrayal of his best friend, Karna, Radhe, as he's addressed in this book. That was something people talk about him as a great hero and everything, but I think he was a bastard by birth, and somehow even by deed, I think he was pretty much the same, because when you pledge your allegiance to your king and your friend, what is the right you have to go and promise your mother or somebody that I will not kill anybody except Arjuna? That's wrong. It's very wrong. I mean, how can you do that? I mean, it's like, let's say there are two brothers. During the partition, one of them went to Pakistan and the other stayed in India, and you'll read that in the Freedom at Midnight. And a few months later, they are facing each other in war. Would it be okay for the Indian general to say, I will kill all the others, but I will not kill my brother there? I mean, that's not the way you fight a war. So that was one of the biggest betrayals. And there was an instant where Karna actually comes close to Yudhishthira, he, holds him and then lets him go. Had he just taken him as a prisoner, the war would have ended. So these kind of things I've highlighted in this book, and also I've given us a lot of attention to the relationship between Krishna and Duryodhana. I mean, they were actually related in more than one ways. Krishna's son was married to Duryodhana's daughter, so I've spoken about that story. I've mentioned about that story, and how the relationship which Duryodhana really looked forward to, having a good bond with Krishna, but then his open arms of friendship was spurned on more than one occasion. So I've basically talked about all these issues and just thrown a light on these, just to get you thinking. The basic idea is that to let you know that frailties, human frailties, possible, everybody can have it. And it's just that once you empathize with the human frailties, then people who you think are bad are really not that bad after all. So I have not glorified anybody, or I have not put down anybody. The idea, I've stuck to the traditional narrations. I have just shown it in a different light. So I hope you like this book. Please do buy. It's available on paperback and Kindle editions. So it's available on Kindle, Amazon Kindle as well. So please do buy and have a read. And do let me know. You can always just put your reviews on Amazon and Goodreads, wherever. And I hope you enjoy the read. Good day. Thank you so much.